Hello, this is Pixel Freak, and today we're doing part 11 of the Final Fantasy Dimensions walkthrough. So, we are just coming up. We're going to cover the town of Deist, which we just walked into. This is the Dragoon town, so a little bit of foreshadowing there. So I'm going to clean out this town here, and I'm going to show you a dungeon that you're not supposed to go into, and we're going to cover a little teeny area that has some story to do with the dragons, and then kind of line up the next video, which is going to be in a dungeon that's right next to this town. So, doing a little bit of stuff in this video, but mostly just cleaning out this town here. I'm also unsure exactly how much I'm going to have to say about this town, since, you know, in these videos where I'm just cleaning out a town and showing you what's in all the treasure boxes, there's not a lot to comment on. So a little bit of background story here on the extermination of the dragons, which are linked very heavily to the dragoons, who the townsfolk here, they talk about the dragoons quite a bit. I do believe there's new equipment in this town as well. If you haven't at this point, this is actually a really good place for you to grind as well. I think I spent a little bit of time grinding right outside this town. I'm not sure exactly how much. I didn't have any cutaways in the video. Usually I'll do that. I'll put a little bit of, look, here's my levels, and then I'll save it and then grind and then put my levels back up on the screen. I must have forgot to do that. Anyways, for this video, just because there's not a whole lot going on, I'm going to go ahead and just put commentary where there needs to be commentary, and I'm going to go ahead and skip the other parts. So I'll probably be quiet for a decent amount of this video. Real quick, weapon shop. Let's see if there's anything new in here. Yeah, so there is some new equipment here, and along with grinding, you can pick up some cash outside. The enemies here were pretty good, a pretty good place to level up, and grind up some job levels as well. As far as what to put points into, this is something that I did a little bit of research into. I'm a little bit farther in the game, and I kind of wish I would have known the way that the jobs work before, because the majority of the jobs you get early in the game, like knights and such, they're going to be replaced later on in the game. So you might not want to go real deep into one job or another. Or actually what it should be is you don't want to spend a whole lot of your job points early on in the game. If you can refrain from spending job points early, or at least not very many, that'll allow you to have more points to spend in the upper tier jobs later on in the game. So the best tactic, I would say, is to kind of just conserve your points now for later in the game if you want to have the strongest team available at the end of the game. If you can't do that and you want to just max them out, just know that you get about enough points to max out about 3 different jobs. Or, you know, you can go half in about 6 of them or something like that. You get about, I think you get 69 points, and it takes 20 points to max out a job. So bear that in mind as you're leveling up your jobs, and conserve your points as necessary. So right here, this is the cave, the dungeon that you really don't want to go into, and I'm going to show you why. You can go up here and, yeah. You get up here to pull this thing, and then there's this Moogle up here that's like, yeah, you shouldn't be in here because you're going to get your ass kicked. Of course, I have to test the waters. What's out here? It's probably worth grabbing that high potion still. But if you go back in that back door that I had opened up with the semi-secret back door, talk to this Moogle and he'll be like, yeah, so you shouldn't be in here. And what I did here is I do just decide, well, I'm a badass. And then I realized real quickly from this guy, yeah, I'm not a badass. Not a badass at all. So this enemy, it's kind of funny. This is kind of a throwback to, there was an enemy that was like a deceiver or something in Final Fantasy IV at the end dungeon in the Crystal Dungeon. And you can see very quickly he kicks your ass. So good to stay out of here because this guy will pound on you. But this imp that was in the Final Fantasy IV in the last dungeon, he did the same thing where he casted. I think he casted Libra on himself though, and it said weak against thunder. And when you cast thunder on him, he like goes crazy and beats the crap out of you. So, I don't know. I guess kind of similar, but not really. So stay out of this dungeon. I even went outside and grinded for a long time, and then I came back here, still got my ass kicked. So, not worth it. You're not going to win against those guys. It's pretty clear that that dungeon's not supposed to be completed until later on in the game. Alright, so once you're out of the town, you want to head west. You can go east if you'd like to. There is a dungeon that way, but you can't get into it yet. There's I think a dragon blocking your way. So I'm leaving the fights in for this video just because there's only a few of them. I'm not actually in a field for that long. And this kind of gives you a taste of what's out here right now. Werewolves. Pretty easy enemies. Nothing particularly tough or memorable about them. Decent experience, decent gold. Good for grinding. What we're going to here is up in the northwest corner here, there's a field. It does progress the story a little bit, so I'll hold off on saying what's exactly in there. But I will say that it's very short. It's not a dungeon or a mountain or nothing to explore. It's mostly just a story sequence, a fight, and then you go to the other dungeon, which is covered in the next video. So you can see that the enemies here are pretty generic. It's one of the reasons why it's probably a good place to grind, just because the enemies aren't... It's nothing exotic here. You're not going to find anything that's particularly difficult. I also find that black mages are very powerful at this point in the game, just because you have your level 2 spells, your Thera and such. So you can quickly wipe out enemies by just using those level 2 spells. It's a good tactic for grinding. I've also found, as you can see, that the monk, or maybe they're black belts? I can't think. In different Final Fantasies, they name them differently, different things. I think they're called Lucians. Anyways, they're very effective at this level. There's also a Chocobo forest up here, so if you haven't gotten your Chocobo summon, there's another place you can do that. You can also use those for transportation, and there's a white one in there to replenish your magic points. So, a little bit of a story sequence here about these flowers and this boy. And then you kind of jump in and you go ass kick crazy, kind of clean up. So after hearing what's going on, you jump in and fight them. So this battle is probably best fought by just clearing out the front guys first. I fought this twice, and the first time I went after the back guy first, and then went for the front guys. The reason I did that was because in Final Fantasy IV 2 in the US, there was a fight that was very similar to this, but if you killed the front guys first, the back guy retreated. For some odd reason, I was thinking it was going to be the same deal, and it just isn't that way. So, better off killing the front guys first, because they do a decent amount of damage, and then finish the back guy off at your own leisure. Front guys go down pretty quickly. Yeah, at this point in time, you should have access to some pretty high potency attacks between your level 2 spells with your mage and then various monk abilities and or warrior abilities. I also chose at this point in the game to use a summoner as my healer, and though that burns up quite a bit of MP, it's very effective because you both hurt the enemy and heal all your guys at the same time. If you're using a white mage, you do have access to Cura at this point, but Cura only heals all your guys really well. It doesn't do any damage. I think the Sylph spell does a little bit less healing, but it's better than Cure. So adequate curing and some damage, I chose to take that. Of course, there's a million different options for what your party would look like, and you'll probably have something that works better for you. Anyways, simple enough boss battle. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the commentary now. Only part that's left is to say that these flowers here, as you walk through them to go pick up the flower in the center of them, they're going to damage you a little bit. So go grab the flower, walk back out, then heal yourself up before you take off. Go ahead and use the Chocobo Forest to run back to town, and you can, if you'd like to, use the inn at town. I'd probably recommend that. You can use a tent if you'd like to as well. And then you run to the east side of the town rather than the west side. At the Y, go the other way. And then you'll get to the base of the Dragon Mountain, and that starts the next piece of the walkthrough. So until then, this has been Pixel Freak.